Hi family, back again with a video. We're still talking about the redemption of Sarah Kane. So from the last video we spoke about that Sarah actually did not want to go to Lancaster, and then eventually she did go. And then when she gets there, she's not happy with the place, and the place is not ideal for her because I mean she's very modern and everything, and I mean she's living in Portland, she's living a life, she's earning all her monies and stuff like that. So the place is not really on for her and stuff like that. And the children, they are not feeling her, and then she's not feeling them either. So what happens afterwards is that she's trying to actually adjust, and the children are actually trying to do the same because this woman is their aunt, but at the same time she's a stranger because they don't know her, they've never met her, and stuff like that. So what happens is that when she's there, she's actually starting to understand what is happening with her nephews and nieces, and then her sister's life, and she's going around seeing how the people in the Amish actually live and stuff like that. And then what happens is that Lydia actually gave her one of her mother's journals, Ivy's journals, and then she starts to read them, and then she gets to know what made her sister to convert to Amish religion. And then what happens is that in that journal there are other things that Sarah had actually, there are other events in their lives as they were growing up that Sarah has actually suppressed. And then when she has suppressed them like this, with those reading those journals, it made her remember the things that they went through as children. Her sister was bossy. Her sister like did not like the fact that she now has a sibling who's younger than her. So she was enjoying, I mean, for 6 years Ivy was alone. There was no any other sibling, and then comes Sarah, and then she comes and she disrupts everything. Her mother was not a sympathetic woman and stuff like that. Her father religious, so it's like to her she felt like the black sheep of the family or the odd one out and stuff like that. And then she gets there to that family, to Lancaster, and then she gets to see the children and their routine and how they are so disciplined. They are so young, but they are so disciplined, and they have the routine that even herself she can't keep up. I mean, their mother taught them when she was still alive. Actually, their parents taught them when they were still alive that they need to be responsible adults. They need to be responsible children and stuff like that. And they get to do those things. And Sarah seeing those things, to her it was very unique and different, and she just did not understand how could young kids like theirs at their age be so disciplined like that, especially Lydia, which was the eldest, and Caleb, yeah, the second eldest. He's a boy, obviously. And then she gets to find out that Lydia is actually courting at her age, and then anytime she might be married and stuff like that. So Sarah's idea is still that she needs to hand over the guardianship to somebody else who is going to raise these children the Amish way, because she's not willing to change or to actually convert to be into this Amish religion or live in this Lancaster area, because she still has a life where in Portland. And then she gets to close again with Brian and stuff like that. And then one day Brian, boom, out of the blue, he calls her and he tells her that he has found God. And to her it was like, whoa, wait a minute, you have found God? You again, my sister and her husband, and you? No ways. So I cannot deal with this. I cannot deal with anybody who has found God and stuff like that. So to me it's like she was resisting the relationship that she should have with God and stuff like that. But anyway, we get to find out why. And then what happened, what made actually what you call Sarah to resign. She did not quit, let me just say she resigned. That's a decent what you said, as a teacher, was because there was a day when she was still in that when she was teaching, because they used to have snow. So when they have snow, they allow children to actually go outside and play with the snow. They do the sliding and stuff like that. So this other child who was autistic and was very isolated and very close with Sarah and did not have friends and stuff like that, her name was Maggie. She went to Sarah and said, "Can I please play a little longer?" Because there was a queue that when the children have to go back in classes, they have to be in queues. So Sarah was like, "Okay, no problem, just be careful." So what happened was that when Maggie was there all by herself in those slides, she slipped and fell and hit her head on the ice, and she died instantly. So Sarah was blamed. She blamed herself as well. She was blamed by the parents. She was blamed by the community. She was blamed by the school and everything. So it became very difficult for her to be a teacher because she felt so much guilt, because she loved that child and she understood that child and everything. And at some point she felt it was her fault because she allowed Maggie to actually go and play all by herself. And then she resigned, and then she went to the what do you call the estate agency, stuff like that, selling houses and stuff like that. That is why she's no longer a teacher. And then eventually she's starting to bond with her nephews and her nieces, and they're getting to understand her as well and stuff like that. And then there's Miriam Ash. Miriam Ash, the woman that she was supposed to she was going to ask to actually foster the children until they grow up and stuff like that. And then Miriam Ash actually confided in Lydia that actually Ivy had said that if Sarah fails to actually come to Lancaster and take the guardianship to her children, then Miriam is the one who's supposed to actually what? Take care of them and everything. But there is a lesson that Sarah has to learn. Sarah has to not forget, she has to forgive herself of what had happened in the past with Maggie, so that she can be able to move on and be redeemed and see God again and be able to bond with God, connect, and maybe, who knows, make a covenant with God and stuff like that. And then, yeah, that's what happens eventually. And yeah, as we are saying, that the book is called The Redemption of Sarah Kane. Indeed, Sarah becomes redeemed, and then eventually she goes back to Portland, and then she resigns her job and she goes back to Lancaster, and she and Brian get married, and then they all live happily ever after. So thank you very much, guys, and keep reading and take care of yourselves, and then continue to adhere to the regulations of the lockdown, and then love yourself and remember that you are worth it. And thank you for liking my videos, and please don't forget to comment and subscribe below. Thank you so much, guys. Next video. Until then, adios.